Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com, and this is another addition to the MercedUI library. So at the end of the last video, we added make live component, we added make component and site builder, and I was trying to think of a way to add sort of the props feature. And actually, I figured out a way to do it without even having to edit those, change the functionality of those pieces, which is awesome. Okay, so let's go back. So what I did is I created a function called captureProps. What it does is you pass in any HTML element, it'll go into that HTML element, grab all its properties, which come in this weird object array thing. I guess it's a set, but basically it turns it into an object with key value pairs. So that way you have access to it like you would in props and anything. But the cool thing is you can grab props from any element, not just from the element you're working in. So you can just grab them as needed. So the pattern of using it will be a little bit different depending on whether you're using site builder directly. So first let me comment out the make live component and goodbye to for a moment. Okay, because we're going to work with just the site builder version here. So site builder, again, I don't have to do anything different in creating it. But then what happens is that in my so in my builder function, I just want to make sure I bother the capture props. Okay. Capture props, and then I can just decide what element I want to choose. So in this case, I know that this particular builder is using this as its target, so I can just refer to that. So I can do capture props target, and then we'll just store that somewhere. So const props equals capture props target, and then now I should be able to change. So let's just try to do this props.hello as a just to show you how this would work. Props.hello. Okay, and now I can go over here to the test div, and I'll do hello equals hello world. Because technically what's going to happen is that since I'm using site builder, so site builder doesn't render its own component, its own tag. So essentially what happens is that it does have a target tag, so I'm going to put the props there in its target element. So save, and again, it doesn't have to be. I could have some element somewhere that has properties that I want. So I'm gonna hit save. Let's see if that'll work the way we expect it to. Prop L is not defined. Oh, that shouldn't. What line is that on? 197. Okay, I thought I took all that stuff out because I was trying to build it into the library as far as like having native prop capability inside site builder. Although this just made more sense and gave you more flexibility, so I ended up changing it that way. So let's get rid of this. Let me just read this over one more time, and just so you can see how I built this. Basically, you pass in the target, the store, the builder. It again assigns those as properties. Again, every time the template's reached, it's created from the builder, and then the template's then just rendered to the inner HTML of the target element. Cool. Otherwise, that all looks back to normal. Save, refresh. And I see hello world, and again hello world is being currently grabbed from the props. It's no longer being grabbed from the store. So neat. Okay, so this gives you the ability to use props and store, aka state. And the interesting thing is you can grab as many props as you want. So you can use capture props to capture props from any HTML element. Knowing you just have to kind of know it's going to exist. But this could be fun. Okay, now that's how you would use it if you're using site builder. Okay, now what if I'm using make live component? In this case, it does render an HTML element, and I would like to grab, I'm pretty sure I would just have to do then this, because technically the function will be invoked within by the instance of site builder. So I think then that would grab itself. And so let's give that a shot. So what we're going to do is here we are going to do hello equals hello world. Save. The first one should disappear because since I changed the way that refers to. Element attributes is not iterable. Okay. Means it didn't grab what I thought it was going to grab. Let's think about this. How else could I could just grab it by the ID. So let's try that. But you don't know the ID ahead of time. Capture props this. You could just refer to another element, but that's not ideal. But also the problem could just be that I think it's just what's happening is that it's trying to run capture props for the site builder one. So let's just comment that code out. And that's why it's not finding an iterable. So if I do that, I think that might fix it. Yep. Okay, so that was the problem. Good, 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 good. So my thinking is not incorrect. I was about to have a mental breakdown because thinking, oh no, everything I know is false. Oh no, no, no. It was just because it was still rendering the site builder, which was still trying to use this builder function. And since site build, there is no this in the site builder, or like the site builder itself is not an HTML element. And that's why that's not working. Well, when you're doing make live component, it's being run from the component definition, the this. So then the this is the component. So point is it works. So when you're using it, when you're creating a builder function for make live component or for make component, you can just use capture props. So technically you can use this for yeah, anyone. So and it works, captures the properties. So technically with make component, ones that don't have states, which is kind of like a functional component back in React, back before pre-hooks, you could just use capture props. And you can use capture props anywhere, actually, technically. That's a great thing about capture props. It completely separates this whole props functionality. So you can pull it into anywhere in your project. Okay, so you can use it in any of the tools that we've created so far. You could just use it by itself to randomly capture props for whatever purpose. There you go. You have props. Okay, so now you have state, you have props, you have lifecycle functions, you have all the things. Okay, built in this library, and the library itself is only, let's see here, how many lines of code? 233 lines of code. Okay, so let me just save that because it's all working. And then I will get it up online so that way the newest version is up there and available for you. Okay, but yeah. So you could build cool UIs. You have access to all your favorite features, but you're using web standard components. That's a very small library. So you're talking about very small bundle size. And you don't have to be running a live server to get the code that works. So it's not like when you use sort of like if you use React as CDN, you have to go run live server or something. This could just basically run straight out of the browser with native browser APIs. There's very little fancy stuff going on here, as you can see. Thankfully, because of the new web component API in browsers, not that new anymore, but by leveraging that, adding some abstractions over it, we have a very familiar feeling type structure. Okay, and you don't have to worry about getting it compiled. Unlike Stencil, I like Stencil, but with Stencil, you basically, what it does, it just abstracts JSX over this API. So you're essentially building web components, but then you have to run it through the compiler, so that way it compiles to that standard code, and etc. Which is still fun. I like Stencil, but this you don't have any of those issues with. You don't have to worry about anything. You're just doing standard code, standard JavaScript code. This will just work. I am very excited. This actually turned out a lot cooler than I expected.